State Governor Chris Sununu. This is the third Governor Sununu I've interviewed in my 20 years on the air. His father and his brother have been governor. Now Chris, the smart one, is governor, the MIT graduate. Good morning, Governor Sununu. Great to have you on the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Hey, thanks, Hugh. Obviously, a lot is going on up here today. Very excited. Thanks for having me on.
Well, please pass on to your brother that I called you the smart one. Yeah, it is the big day in New Hampshire. I want to start with the obvious question. You're a Republican. Have you endorsed anyone in the 2024 New Hampshire primary yet?
No, but I'm sure they'll be lining up on November 8th, 2020 of this year. We'll get to that when the time comes.
I'm pretty sure you will. It's going to be a wild ride in 4 years, don't you think?
Without a doubt. I mean, without a doubt. We're all focused on 2020 because we know this election can be extremely pivotal for the whole country. But, that's just kind of the way it is. You always get people itching for the next one, even on the Democrat side, because I think they're starting to realize they're probably going to be running, with the president winning in 2020. They're not going to have an incumbent there they're going to be dealing with. They're going to be running for an open seat as well. So everyone kind of starts lining up shortly after. But, that's the political nonsense of the first couple of years. It all comes down to what happened in the First of the Nation today.
No, I was up there in 2016 for the Republicans. I do not come for the Democrats because they don't talk to me except Pete Buttigieg. But I always try and figure out how many undeclared voters are in the pool today. So can you give us a rundown on the stats, Governor Sununu? How many people in the First of the Nation primary are eligible to vote? How many of those are Ds? How many of those are undeclared?
Sure.
You can go either way. And how many are Republicans?
So think of it this way: about a third of the state's Republican, a third is a Democrat, and a little more than a third, if you want a little less than a third on each party, is undeclared. So we have more undeclared than anybody else, and they can participate in the primary on either the Democrat or Republican side. Given that the energy right now is on the Democrat side, there's a real primary there. Most of those undeclareds that want to participate will participate on the Democrat side today. So you're going to end up with about 270,000 votes on the Democrat side, maybe upwards of 120,000 on the Republican side. Those will both be record numbers for an election with an incumbent president. We have a very high voter turnout here. I know for folks listening in Florida, that's like a quarter of the size of Broward County. I get it, but up here in New Hampshire, that's actually an incredibly high number for a voter turnout in a primary. And again, that's why New Hampshire has the First of the Nation primary, because we have such high voter engagement on both sides of the ticket.
So, Governor, you got 270,000 Ds, 120,000 Rs. That means 390,000. I'm a lawyer, but I can add 390,000 voters. That would mean about 130,000 undeclared, and that's where I really want to focus for a moment. Where do you think the undeclareds are going who are voting in the Democratic side today?
Well, again, remember, if you look at undeclared, most undeclared voters have a lean, right? They always have a lean D or a lean R. Lean Ds will likely participate. Maybe two-thirds of those will likely participate. The true undeclared, maybe half of those will actually participate on the Dem side. That doesn't mean they're voting Democrat in the general election, though. That's how purple we really are here. Those are folks just kind of taking part in the process. You'll also have a lot of R-leaning undeclareds actually voting for the president. Even though there's no race there, there's such high energy on the Republican side. Even though we have an incumbent president, he's going to get over 100,000 votes himself.
Well, you had quite the rally last night. What was that like in terms of relative size between the president's crowd and, say, a crowd for Pete Buttigieg?
It doesn't even compare. When you have 12,000 people packing inside the arena, between 5,000 and 10,000 on a cold February night outside the arena, and everyone's having a ball. I think the president, I think he actually even came out to the outside and greeted the crowd outside. The energy, I don't know if you've ever been to one of these rallies. It's like a rock concert. The energy is crazy. It's very positive. It's very pro-America. It's all about the economy and individual liberty, two things that play very well here in the live free or die state. And so it's great. And so at the end of the day, even though last night was the night before the big Democrat primary, all the headlines were for the president, the vice president, and their economic success. And so you have to give them a lot of credit where credit is due, and the people are coming out in droves for them.
Now, my friend Doug Ducey says he's got the best economy in the country. What does the New Hampshire governor say about that? How's the economy in the Granite State?
Look, I love Doug. He's a great governor of Arizona. I'll give him the best economy west of the Mississippi. I'll take the best economy east of the Mississippi. We are now ranked the number one state pro-business state in the Northeast, the number one state for millennials to move in, the lowest poverty rate in the country, one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. With Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts constantly passing more laws and taxes and regulations, I got all these families and businesses flooding over into New Hampshire. So we're absolutely booming, and a big part of that was Trump's tax credits. We got hundreds of millions of dollars of investment off of that. We have a balanced budget, a very healthy surplus, investing in the right programs without taxes, without sales tax, without income tax, with a lot of personal liberty and freedoms, and that's just what people want. I'm a big believer. Government is not here to solve your problems. It's not. It's here to create a lot of doors of opportunity for you or your kids or your business. But whether you go through those doors or not, that's up to you. That's really what Live for Your Die is about. And people love that because we believe in the individual. We don't believe in big government institutions. So we've been very successful economically, and we think the boom is really going to continue right through 2020.
I like to point out that people don't know this. New Hampshire is one of those rare states that has its defense spending about a third between the three branches. So the rise in the rebuild of our national military has helped New Hampshire. But what is the strongest center of economic activity in the Granite State, Governor?
The two areas, high-tech manufacturing and biotech, is seeing this huge boom. Regenerative medicine, biologistics, biotechnology, huge boom in the Manchester area and in our university system. And matching that with the aerospace and defense stuff that we do on the manufacturing side, wafer chips and things of that nature. Think of Kendall Square, MIT Technology Hub in Boston. We're the tax-free suburb of that, right? We are the live-free tax-free suburb 35 miles away, where you don't have to be in the People's Republic of Cambridge. You can have your business and your family and your economic success right over the New Hampshire border. So we really try to take advantage of both worlds here.
Now, Governor, we're talking on 1370 Keene and 1290 Nashua. We're all across the state. So we have a great talk radio audience in New Hampshire. The politics of the state swing wildly, in my view. I still don't understand the Senate election. Which way are they trending this year? Because I have both Eric and Don Trump on today. They're going to tell me New Hampshire's in play. Is it in play?
Oh, without a doubt. Look, you can't create all this economic success for individuals, for families, for neighbors, for communities, and have them not go vote to that success in the ballot box. I don't care what the polls say, and Trump deserves a lot of the credit for that. I think their amazing governor deserves a little credit too with my tax cuts and regulatory reform. I'm not going to lie, but it was really a combination in 2017 and 2018 of both the federal government and the state government doing right by the individual and business, creating that opportunity. And people in New Hampshire are very local. We believe in our communities, our neighborhoods, our neighbors. That's how we're going to vote. And so when we go into that ballot box, that's exactly why Donald Trump is, I think, very likely going to win here in 2020.
Now, it looks like on the Democratic side, a two-person race between Senator Sanders and Mayor Buttigieg. Do you have a prediction, Governor Sununu?
It won't. No. Well, let me do this. It's not a two-person race. In the state, yes. Bernie Sanders will win by 7 or 8 points. I think we all know on the national scale, you're going to get three progressive candidates kind of battling it out against 3 moderate candidates. And you're going to get a very ugly brokered convention. And then you have this big Bloomberg umbrella that's going to come over the whole thing, and he's going to try to buy his way into an election. The progressive socialists won't let that happen, nor should they, by the way. And it's going to be a very ugly mess when you get down to it. Now, while the Democrats are sorting out their mess over the summer, Trump is going to get a lot of momentum because the benefits of USMCA are going to really start kicking in. The benefits of the strong economy, the regulatory reform, the first phase of the China deal, all of these things will start kicking in for the American economy and give him a lot of momentum and a lot of wins, especially with all the impeachment nonsense behind him. And he's gonna have a victory in 2020. There's no doubt about it. And that's not just like whistling past the graveyard. Just look at how he's lined up these successes, and he's barely even started campaigning yet. Now that the campaign is really on, you're going to see a lot of those successes brought to bear. Great, stronger messaging on America, stronger messaging on the pro, on the positive, and let the Democrats be the negative naysayers.
2 last questions. Elizabeth Warren is a neighboring senator. She's going to finish at best 3rd, maybe 4th. Joe Biden's going to finish 4th, maybe 5th. Doesn't that knock them both down pretty hard?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Look, Warren has I think a lot of folks were very interested in Elizabeth Warren early on in the hopes that her phoniness would start wearing off. But she's not real. She placates, she panders. And maybe you can get away with that on a TV ad in other states. But here in New Hampshire, you got to look people in the eye. You got to be a real person first. That's why Bernie does well, right? He's got this social progressive ideals. It isn't that we're a socialist state by any means. It's that he's at least, honest about it.
Okay, and a very quick question. How many Republicans do you expect to run in the New Hampshire primary in 2024? Are we talking 4, 6, 8, 12?
You're going to see a lot. I think this is the new trend. You're going to see a lot of them come out of the woodwork. But until then, we got to focus on 2020 and build economic success to get to 2024.
Keep coming back, Governor Chris Sununu. Have a good